Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Your Company Health Podcast. My name is Andre Wright, and today I have a very exciting guest. I have Dr. Adam Taylor. He is a chiropractor, professional speaker, teacher, author, and also owner of the ClearPath Family Chiropractic. Hey, Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Andre. I appreciate you having me on here.
All right, I'm glad that you're here today. All right, so I know you're a man of many hats, right? So talk to us about your journey and how you got into healthcare.
Yeah, so as a young guy, I come from like a blue collar family. So, my family's always done more manual labor type work and things like that. Not a lot of my family had gone to college when I was, growing up. So I never really wanted to go to college. I was a hands-on kind of person, and I thought I would just go get into trade work or something like that and, build a career out of that. But I was introduced to chiropractic when I was like 15, and as a young kid, it was taught to me that it just helps you stay healthy and, helps the body function better and helps you deal with stress better and all these things. So as a young kid, it just kind of clicked for me and it made sense and it became my primary a form of healthcare. And but even still, I never really felt the draw to become a chiropractor. I loved being a patient and like the effects that I had with that with my family. And um, long story short, I got out of high school and didn't know what I really wanted to do. I went and got a business degree because I had Hope Scholarship. So I went and got a business degree, and then I ended up getting a job at Georgia Power, and I was a lineman for Georgia Power. Worked there for about 4 years or so, and it was an awesome job, but it's also a very dangerous job. And I ended up falling about 30 feet down a pole one day at work, and I got very lucky, didn't get hurt very bad. But at that moment, I was kind of like, I got to do something different. And at that time, a family member was a chiropractor, and they introduced me to what they were doing. And there's a specific form of chiropractic called upper cervical, which is a very unique niche in chiropractic. Less than 2% of chiropractors specialize in that. And so I actually just went and sat in this like certification class and as a guest. And the whole weekend, I was like, man, all these light bulbs are going off on, what it was and how they're taking care of patients and the neurology behind it. And all these things clicked. And I realized that weekend that's what I wanted to do. So I went to work on Monday, put my 2 week notice in and enrolled back in school. And that was back in 2006. So it's been a long time.
So that's a fascinating jump because for you to be to go to school for business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then move to chiropractic. How was that transition?
Oh, it was tough, man. Because I've been out of school for several years, and in a business degree, you don't learn any of those things. You're not in the sciences at all. So I had to do there's a few different accelerated courses that you can take to kind of get your basis of all your science stuff to get into your bachelor's to get to, the doctorate program. So I went from like no school for years to this accelerated program. There's these 5 week courses. We're going through an entire course in 5 weeks, and it was tough, but it got me back in the mode of studying and over that hump of like being able to study, take tests, all those things. Because chiropractic school, a lot of people think that chiropractic school is easy and it's like a weekend course. And, there's different stigmas around chiropractic, but it's over 5,000 hours in 3.5 years. And we averaged about 5 to 12 tests a week. Like it was one of the most intense things ever done in my life. But it was a hard transition for sure, going from, just working and then going back into study mode and to that level as well. Any doctorate program is a doctorate program for a reason, and it's difficult, but super rewarding. I'm glad, obviously it's the best thing I've ever done. And but it was definitely a hard transition.
So you touched a little bit on stigma in for being a chiropractor. Generally, would typically say, well, my chiropractor just wants my money. It's all about, they're going to give you that hook, and you keep
Yeah.
on coming back with that, and they're going to adjust you, and it's just an ongoing thing. So talk to us about, the importance of chiropractic and why we all need to do it.
I think it's funny because, if you look at any healthcare profession, you go to the dentist, you go to the medical doctor, ladies go to their OB, all these things, what do they tell you to do? You need checkups for the rest of your life. But for whatever reason, they think that chiropractic should be something that is just a treatment where you come in for a couple of visits, but the benefit is in the long term. And so if you go to a medical doctor and they say, oh, you have high blood pressure, you need to be on a blood pressure drug, how long do they tell you you got to take that? for the rest of your life. So does that make it unscientific? Does that make it wrong? But when we say chiropractic is a beneficial thing to be a part of your healthcare regimen for a lifetime or for a long time, that shouldn't feel weird. It's something that's like working out or eating well or, mental health. All these things are so important. Your central nervous system and your spine are the foundation for everything in your body. And so a lot of that comes from, number one, the chiropractic profession not speaking the message of what chiropractic is and really understanding the bigness of what it is. And, for years, it's just been focused on like neck pain, back pain, headaches, which is we help with, but that's only 10% of what we do in chiropractic. And the other side of that is the medical profession. This isn't over 100 years of arguing back and forth of who's right and who's wrong. And we're competitors in the space of healthcare, but in reality, we do two totally different things. But there's this like infighting of like, well, these guys are right and these guys are wrong and they're doing this and that. At the end of the day, we all can serve patients in different capacities. And if we all just work together, we could serve in those different things. But when you talk about like, you got to go the rest of your life, that's always a choice, man. If you go to the gym and you work out with a trainer and you only do a 6-week program, what's he going to recommend? You got to do this the rest of your life. And if you don't, you're going to regress back to where you were before. And so chiropractic's kind of the same way, man. We want to make sure we get things back in order, get things in alignment, and then we maintain that moving forward because life is stressful. We endure different stresses and traumas and things. And nowadays with technology and sitting, the spine just has a lot of pressure and stress on it. So chiropractic helps us, work through those things, not just today, but, moving forward.
Agreed, agreed. So if someone is watching or listening, talk to us. I know you mentioned that your technique is pretty unique, but talk to us about your process. Say I just I'm having some back pain and I decide to make an appointment and come in your establishment. What's your process?
Yeah. So, again, in chiropractic, there's a lot of different philosophies and how people approach, their care, but also their business model. Some offices you just walk in, you lay on a table and they pop and crack you and you just come back whenever. There's a certain demographic that can do that. But, as doctors, as clinicians, number one thing for any doctor is safety, right? We got to make sure we're taking the best care of our patients possible. And the spine is crucial. And obviously it affects the spinal cord, the nerves, the joints, everything is very complex in there. And so chiropractic is not just popping bones and making cracking noises. Chiropractic is about the nervous system. It's about balancing neurology between the brain and the body. And so in our office, you come in, we do an evaluation. We take specific 3-dimensional x-rays of the upper neck and any other areas of the spine that are, being affected. And then we put together a recommendation based on that. So it's not cookie cutter. It's not random. It's not just, do whatever you want to do. There's a plan behind, the findings that we have. And so our patients love the fact that they don't come in and it's like, just get adjusted and like, good luck. We'll see you someday whenever you feel like it. There's actually a plan and a goal, and we get phenomenal results. We've been voted best of Georgia the last 3 years, best of Gwinnett since the first year we were open. So, we pride ourselves on the results that we get, and that all starts with a baseline. Because, we have a lot of people come in with pain, right? They want to be out of pain quickly. But if we put the cart before the horse, we're going to be chasing that forever, right? So we want to make sure we have our baseline up front so we can have proper recommendations, proper expectations, and make sure we can get the best care for our patients.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's jump into your business, the business overall.
Yeah.
As I'm the own a digital marketing company, work with healthcare practitioners. So talk to us about scaling your business operations. How was that for you, and what are some of the things that you're doing now to drive new patient base?
Yeah, when you first open a business, there's a saying, you have more time than money. And then as you grow the business, you have more money than time in some ways because you're busy taking care of patients. So when we first opened, we didn't have the budget for doing ads and all those things because they are pricey. And so we did more grassroots. So we went door to door. We did a lot of just meeting and greeting, networking, trying to build a name for ourselves in the community. I grew up here in Gwinnett County, so I already had some, connections and things like that when I opened my practice. But we worked our tails off, just meeting as many people as we could, meeting other practitioners, building relationships for referrals. So really building that way. But as we've grown, we have invested into some, digital marketing. So we've tried a little bit of everything. We've done print, we've done, Google ads, we've done Facebook ads, we've done different things like that. But what we're currently doing is really focusing on Facebook and Instagram. I feel like that's where a lot of people are. And it's really worked well for us as far as reaching more people outside of just inside of our clinic. We're primarily a referral-based practice, but we do some digital, marketing that way.
Right, and that's awesome. It's good because I'm telling you, Doc, I speak with in different healthcare practitioners, and most times, as what you mentioned, they're focused on taking care of the patient, so they don't pay a lot of attention to the digital marketing side and that and all the numbers. So it's good to know that you look at those numbers and you look at ways to scale the operations that way. And I want to tell you, some of these doctors, you're like, when we ask, how do you grow your business? You're like, Andre, we have been here forever. We don't do anything. People just
Yeah,
come in. But in this day and age, as you know, and even in the chiropractic space, is very competitive, very competitive.
100%. And
So
Atlanta's the most competitive for chiropractic, especially when it comes to digital marketing. Like it's super saturated. It's a
yep.
tough market for that.
Yeah, it's a tough market. And even with that, as I always explain, you have to stand out. Because I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not doing the digital marketing, your competitor, they're going to do it and they're going to get
Yep.
that share. So I know you mentioned Facebook and the Instagram strategy is working well for you. But I normally encourage like a more holistic approach, try to have a presence everywhere, but obviously, you will, because you have to look at the number and it's not just vanity metrics. So I wanted to, you mentioned the Facebook and the Instagram. So what are some of the KPIs you look at, or the key metrics that you look at when you're running those campaigns?
Obviously, you're looking at, click rates and cost per click and things like that, but really, return on investment. So, if we're spending X amount of dollars, we want to get, a certain number of potential clients out of that. Obviously, leads are leads, and it's our job to close those. But for us, we set certain numbers that we want with the agency we're working with now. Some months we hit it, some months we don't. And I know that things ebb and flow in marketing, and but we're really trying to get that return on what we're spending. And I've learned too, because going to school to be a doctor, they don't teach you marketing. They
No.
don't teach you how to run these things. So I found it's important. Some people like to crash course it and do it themselves and play with it for a while. But for me, like hiring someone like you that knows the market, that knows the technology, how to work these things. I think it's so important to partner with an agency that knows your message, but also knows the back end of how do you get that message out there and get people to respond to that message. And so for us looking at that, really just trying to make sure we're having something that's authentic to our practice that shows who we are, and attracting the right type of person too. So, I don't necessarily take care of Medicare patients in my office. So obviously we don't want, if we're only getting Medicare patients from the advertising they're doing, something's off in the way that we're doing that. So looking at the avatars that are coming in as far as our ideal clients is also important to us, that the type of ads and type of videos and things that the message we're putting out there is attracting the right type of client for our office.
Right, right. And obviously the ultimate metric is the patient coming in,
Of
right? That's the
course.
ultimate metric.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited the way you're talking, and it's clear that you're understanding your business and you're looking at the right things. But on the flip side to all this, I know you mentioned that it's important to find the right agency, find the right marketing team. But on the flip side, I've seen health practitioners who they're like, Andre, I can do this myself, and they started dabbling into Google Ads and dabble into SEO and they waste a lot of advertising dollars. They end up wasting a lot of money by just testing and doing things themselves, and they don't know what they're doing, and at the end, it's a bad thing.
Yep. I think innately as business owners and entrepreneurs, we want to take on everything. We like to wear all the hats, and we feel like, well, why would I spend these dollars over here when I can just do it on my own? And but then what I find is it diverts away from what my focus is as a business owner and a practitioner, is my team and my patients, right? So that's my job, is to make sure all that is running and doing what it needs to do. And if I dabble in things that I don't really know, it's taking away my energy from that. Also, the days that I'm not seeing patients, I want to be with my family. I want to be, recovering. I want to be, focusing on other things. And I think that having, again, that agency, that person that knows the market. And the other thing is technology, man. It changes so much, so
Yep.
fast. The algorithms change and the rules change and all these things. So if you're not up on that, you're going to miss so many things on the ads. And so, but I think as a business owner too, we're looking at dollars. And so we're like, man, I don't want to spend this money for this other person to do this when I can do it myself. But in the long run, you're going to waste way more money than if you hire a good company to support you in that way. I think it's so important.
So so agree with what you're saying, and even for me too, as a business owner, I've had to learn the hard way because we always want to do things and take control of everything, but as you grow your business, you realize that it's more important to work on the business than in the business, because I mean your time is invaluable, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people, they don't look at the cost of your time. They don't assess that. By you just working on this Google Ads campaign and trying to figure out this, you could be seeing several more patients,
Yep.
and then scale your business that way.
Well, you miss so many marks too, I think, when you're trying to dabble and you're trying to learn, and you did this probably getting into the industry is like, you're trying to learn how to work things, right? But for me to try to do that on my off time and with my limited knowledge in the industry, I'm going to waste so much more time and money than if I were just to invest in someone that could do it for me and, coach me in those different things that I'm not, well versed in.
Right, right. And doctor, I know you have a very successful operations going there. What if you could tell our audience what is one of the best what's a good business advice you've received, and how has this impacted you?
I think number one that I think with a lot of the feedback I get from my patients when they go to other doctors is there's a disconnect, right? There's the doctor sits across the table and it's like, I'm here, you're there. We're not working as a team. You just do what I tell you to do. There's not this like correct direct connection you have with the patient. And so it almost feels like it's not authentic. And I think that one of the biggest things in our practice is our authenticity to who we are as people and what our mission is to help with our patients. Because in the office, it's me, my wife, my mom, my daughter's there half the time. Our dog is there. We have an awesome team that works with us. And so when people come in the office, we want them to feel like they're at home. And we have this saying that you don't become a patient, you become family. And I think that being authentic to who we are and what our mission is so important. And that's true in no matter what business you're in, whether it's marketing or healthcare or it's in, some sort of sales position, you have to be genuine to who you are. And I think that's really important. And I think keeping things simple, I think we feel like things that are important and things that are valuable have to be complicated. And I think that in healthcare, there's more confusion today on what is healthy, what's not, what I should do for this. We've complicated things so much, but if again in the medical industry, if we can keep people confused and not really sure what's going on, that puts the doctor in control. When in reality, our doctors should be working for us. And so in our office, we communicate, we are on one-on-one with our patients. We're making sure that they understand what's going on, what the process is, what the expectations are. And I think that keeping things simple and patient focused and efficient in the way we do things, that's key to running a successful, fun, healthy practice in business.
No, and that's spot on. That's spot on in terms of authenticity. It goes without saying. People like to do business with who they like and trust.
100%. Yep.
So that's so important in every facet of business. And Doctor, can't believe we're almost at the end. I mean, we could go on and on, but I know you're an author. Talk to us about that.
I've authored some research, some patient case files and research. I've written some magazines. So I've written more on articles and things like that, but I have not written a book. My wife, though, she's the English major in the family, and she's writing
Okay.
a book. But I have not written a book yet. I've thought about it. Just haven't had that time yet in my life. That's one of the things that's on the
Horizon.
checklist for some time. But I've written some articles in magazines and publications and things
And
like that.
that's I
Yeah.
mean that's good because that's good in terms of being a thought leader. So talk to us about some of those publications. What do you typically talk about, and tell us about those tips and.
Yeah, so the one I've written specifically was for upper cervical chiropractic. It was a chiropractic publication in Texas that I spoke at a big convention out there, and they had me write an article for one of their publications. And so it was basically upper cervical chiropractic care within the chiropractic profession and how we can use that to enhance our patient care and outcomes neurologically. And so it's really focused on that specific form of chiropractic care.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And then and that, are those publications open to the public, or how does it, or?
Yeah, I mean, generally it was a chiropractic publication, so
Okay.
generally just chiropractors are reading it. But I don't have anything really in the public space again yet, but it's definitely something on the list of things to do.
No, definitely, definitely. And right there, you could tell our viewers and listeners what's your website? How can they reach your site?
Yeah, so our office name is ClearPath Family Chiropractic, and our website is clearpathfamilychiro.com.
Right.
Yep.
ClearPathFamilyChiro.com. And
Yes.
I'm sure, our listeners and viewers, they will check you out and see all the good things that you're doing. What are some, maybe one or two practical tips we all can do to promote a good healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, I think in our current modern world is technology, right? So we're all looking at our computers, we're all looking at our cell phones, we're all sitting for too many hours a day. So I think being aware, because we can't get away from it. And I tell my patients this all the time. We cannot get away from our cell phones because that's the world we live in. We can't get away from our computers because that's the world we live in. And so being aware of what we're doing, how much time we're spending, holding your head down, when you hold your head up, just being aware of your body, aware of your posture, because those things can add stress. And we think about injury to the spine being like a car accident or a concussion in football, but it's the little things that we do that create wear and tear over time as well. So posture and being aware of what we're doing with our technology is very important. And the second thing is just you've got to move. We humans don't move like we used to. And a lot of times the joint stuff that people deal with as we age is just because of inactivity. So make sure we're moving our bodies in a healthy way. Get up, use a standing desk. I have a lot of my patients now that are using the treadmills under their desk. So they're
I
working
saw
all day
that.
and they're walking all day. So that makes a huge difference in their health outcomes. And if you study longevity, a big part of that is going to be movement. We have to move our bodies to stay healthy. And obviously, chiropractic care, you've got to be getting adjusted. If you're not under chiropractic care, you're not living to your potential. I don't care if you have pain or no pain or whatever it may be. Everybody can benefit from chiropractic because it enhances your balance of your body, your brain, your nervous system. And again, everyone thinks of chiropractic just as about joints and muscles, but it really all goes back to the brain, the central nervous system, and integration of function in the body, because your brain is connected to every single organ, every single tissue, and it coordinates every single process that happens in the body, from hormones to digestion. Everything is coordinated by the brain and the nervous system. So that's really the core of chiropractic, is making sure your body is integrating and functioning at its optimum. And if you could do that, a lot of other things will improve. And research shows that when you're under regular chiropractic care, it reduces your need for medical care by 60%. And it reduces your need for pharmaceuticals by 85%. So we know that with regular chiropractic, you will have better health outcomes. You'll spend less money in doctors' offices, and you'll have a better quality of life moving forward.
Awesome, awesome, Doctor. Some great tips there. And again, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast today. You dropped some gems and some good information, and I know our audience will definitely check out your website and see what you're all about. All right, so appreciate you stopping by, and until next time, thank you.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me. It was awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks.